Okay, sorry about the delay. So in this guided tutorial, we're going to talk about adding to the discussion section of your report the topic of your distribution shape of your random variables. So again, I think having different sections like definitions, results, and discussion are relatively new to you. So I just kind of want to recap how we're using those three sections in this report to kind of give you some context as to what we're adding and why we're adding what we are in this distribution shape discussion section. So previously, if you remember, in the definitions section, this is where you just define the terms and the analyses that you're going to be using. So for example, descriptive statistics. So in the definition section, you defined what the mean is, you defined what the median is, and you defined what the mode is. Just a general definition, nothing related to your actual data, just a general definition. Where you included your data was not in the definition section, but in the results section. So in the results section, you created a subsection of that, and you called that descriptive statistics. And this is where you had the mean, the median, and the mode for each of your random variables. Now I've got two random variables. You might only have one, and that's okay. But see, I'm using this vocabulary word mean, and because the person reading it read about what it means at the beginning, this makes sense to them. And so the mean of my height variable was 123.7. The median of my height variable was 115, and the mode of my height variable was 108.3. And I similarly have the mean, the median, and the mode. And all I'm doing is reporting those. I'm not talking about them yet. I'm just reporting them. And that's what goes in the results section. Now, the discussion section is where you actually discuss your results. So this first section in the discussion section is where I'm talking about my measures of center of my two random variables, height and speed. So this is actually kind of a recap from the previous video, but basically what I'm putting here is this relationship between the mode, the median, and the mean for the height random variable. So what I noticed is that the mode is lower than the median, and the median is lower than the mean. So if we come up here to my results section, I noticed that the mode was lower than the median, and the median was lower than the mean. So now I'm interpreting the results that I got earlier, and that's what goes in the discussion section. So I kind of, labeled this relationship with less than signs, okay? And since I made that observation with one random variable, my height random variable, I want to see what that relationship is with my speed random variable. So I noticed that the mode and the median were equal to each other, and the mean was approximately equal to the median. And that's what this wavy equal sign means. That means approximately. And if I come back up here to my results section, then you can see that the mode is equal to the median, and the median was approximately equal to the speed random variable. Okay, so the discussion section is where you start looking for patterns. It's where you start observing relationships between information that you've recorded and that you've calculated in your results. Okay, so this is what was done previously, and this I've also kind of described the difference between definition, results, and discussion. So next, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about discussing the shape of the distribution of those random variables. And so what you'll notice is we have a combination of two things. Previously in the results, these descriptive statistics, mean, median, and mode, were separate from the distribution shape. So we, kind of reported this alone, and I reported this alone. But now in the discussion section, we're going to see if the measures of center and the histogram tell the same story. We're going to see if there's a relationship between those things. So that's why I've taken the histogram figure and I've overlaid the measures of center with the height random variable. And I've done the same thing with the histogram of the speed random variable and the measures of center for the speed random variable. And so if I'm doing my analysis correctly, these things should complement each other. If they don't complement each other, then that could mean something else or it could mean an error, all right? But that's what we're going to be working on here, is building this discussion subsection of talking about the distribution shape and correlating that with an earlier result and an earlier discussion. And that's what goes in the discussion section, is you're just finding relationships, you're finding patterns between things, and you're discussing them. So, before we actually kind of fill this into your report, I'm going to show you how to create this illustration, which is really very simple, but it uses, tools in PowerPoint you may not be familiar with. So that'll come next.